In this movie, we'll continue with the geometry for our pool table family, and we're going to add a void form. And the void form will be used to carve the pockets out of the tabletop surface here. So I'm in a file called Adding Voids, and I've got my 4 windows tiled, my floor plan, my 3D view, and a front and a left elevation. I'm going to do this work in the floor plan view. And like we did in the Adding Solids movie, I want to take these solid forms and go to the sunglasses and temporarily hide those just to get them out of my way for a moment. And I'm going to zoom in over here on this corner because I want to get a nice clean look at those reference planes. It's really important that the geometry I create is associated with the reference planes and not the other geometry. I'm going to go to the Create tab, and over here on the Forms panel, there's a drop-down which gives you the same 5 shapes that we have as solids, but we can create those as voids. And voids just cut away from the solids. So I'm going to go down here and choose a void extrusion. And for this example, I'm going to approximate the shape of the pockets, and I'm going to just work with a simple circle. Of course, if I was trying to do an accurate pool table, the shape of the pocket isn't really completely round and circular. It's got a slightly different shape, but for this example, we'll just not worry too much about that. Let's go with a 2-inch radius, and I've snapped it directly to the intersection of those reference planes. Now, if you look over here, you'll see that the work plane is still at the reference level. So we're going to actually adjust that in just a few moments. But what I want to do is come over here and make another one at 2 inches. I'm going to go to Modify, cancel out of there, and I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to move them down, and I'm going to just click any start point, start moving down, and then I'm going to type in 1.25 inches. Then I'm going to select only this one, go to Move, start moving it to the right the same amount, 1.25 inches. So this one is shifted in from the center line in both directions. This one's just down. And then finally, I'll take this one and mirror it to the other side. So the 2 corner pockets have the same relationship and the side pocket's a little different. And then finally, all 3 of them can mirror around this direction like so. Now again, because of the work plane here, you can see that that sketch is all sitting on the floor right now. So let's finish the sketch. But what I want you to see is you can actually use this button right here and do Edit Work Plane, and I can move it up to the playing surface and click OK. And when I do that, you'll see it jump up and go to that correct height now. So there's a few different ways you can get there. Now you kind of see this sort of transparent blue glass material. Now if I deselect it, it's now a transparent orange type glass. Now the reason that it looks like this is because I built it on the floor and then moved it up. Had I built it right on the correct work plane to begin with, it would have automatically attached itself to the nearby geometry. Well, all we have to do is use the Cut Geometry tool, and I'm going to select that, pick on a solid form, and then pick on the void, and the void will now carve away from the solid form. I'm going to repeat that with the rectangle here, and I might have to use my tab key to get it, to move around sometimes. There it is right there. Get the extrusion, and I also want to add the same void to it. Now, of course, when I do that, it doesn't really cut anything yet because, as you can see, it's sitting right on the surface of that solid. But if I come over here into one of the elevation views, locate that void, you might have to use your tab key. There it is right there with the tab key. I can grab this little shape handle at the bottom, drag it down, and snap it to that underside reference plane. And I'm going to go ahead and lock that. And notice that it now cuts. Let's select this and orbit slightly. You can see that it now cuts all the way through. So a void form can be created in the same shape as all the solid forms. You can do them as sweeps or as extrusions or blends or any of the same forms. But the difference is it actually carves away from 3D geometry instead of adding to it. And so using a combination of solids and voids, you can usually create much more complex 3D forms for your families.